There's this video going around of this little girl running into this field, and what's weird is that when she passes a certain point, you hear something on the camera, but you also see at the same time like some distortion, like if she crossed into like a different realm or some type of frequency wall. And then she goes up a little bit more and it happens again. So it happens 2 times. So it's like, is she crossing into an alternate dimension? Is it just like a portal to somewhere else? Or is it just some sound? I don't know. But it's really weird. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you when you're recording, you hear something like that. But if you haven't seen the video, here it is. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And TikTok, this for entertainment purposes only.
Something weird happened when I was around 10, 11 years old and I was staying at my dad's house. I'm sure it can be explained. I don't know if it's paranormal, but it's weird. So I was staying at my dad's house for the weekend and my dad was into like collecting like historic things, and he had a flint, which I think is something that you could set fire with. I don't know. Anyway, I remember my little sister holding this flint while being on my dad's bed, and she would have been 2, maybe 3 years old at the time. Anyway, that evening, my dad woke us up. He was really angry because he wanted the flint and we didn't know where it was. I don't need to go into full details, and I don't want to go into full details on what happened. Basically, had to stay up all night looking for this flint that we couldn't find, and my being the oldest, I got the brunt of it. So the following morning was a Sunday and my nan would come round and take us all to the car boot sale. She was there bright and early to get those bargains. And when she turned up, she noticed that we were all really quiet, really tired, really sad. And she asked me what was wrong. I told her, and I remember her being really angry and storming into the kitchen where my dad was. Now, my nan was tiny. She was probably 5'1", maybe 2, and my dad was 6 foot, around 6 foot, and she was telling him off. I remember her pointing her finger at him and saying, "You need to look after these girls," saying what she said. And the weirdest thing happened. So, you know, like a light fitting, like that round thing on the light fitting, that moved and the flint fell through the ceiling and hit my dad on the head. It happened. It fell through the ceiling and hit my dad on the head. At that moment, she was telling him off. Now, my stepmom unfortunately passed away when my sisters were really little. And when that happened, my nan said, "That's the girl's mum doing that, telling you off, like telling you to look after these girls." And it was just baffling. I remember witnessing it and being like, what the hell just happened? Where did that come from? I have thought about this for years, and I'm a very logical person. I say many times that I think everything can be explained by the right person. I've always thought it maybe fell through the boards, you know, if it fell through the floorboards and at that moment hit him at the perfect right time. Also, my nan was a bit woo-woo, so it could have been that, but honestly, I don't know what happened to this day.
This girl posted a very strange video, and it left the entire internet in shock. A lot of people in the comments are saying, this is a real glitch in the Matrix. Look closely. Did you see it too? At first glance, it's just a normal outfit video, but when you pay closer attention, it sends chills down your spine, because something bizarre happens. At the beginning, the street is completely empty. There's no one there, but the moment she takes a step to the side, a man appears out of nowhere. He simply shows up as if he wasn't there before. That's when the comments exploded. How is that possible? Did he just materialize? Is this a glitch in reality? Let's rewind. At the start, there's nobody. He couldn't have come from anywhere, but when she moves, he's suddenly there. Where did this man come from? How is this possible? A glitch? A portal? A time traveler? Even the girl herself wrote, guys, where did he come from? And what do you think? Just a cut in the video, or a real error in the Matrix?
Hello, my name is Glins. Welcome back to Glins Reacts. Today we got another collection of glitch in the Matrix stories that will definitely make you question reality. These aren't your typical ghost stories, they are moments that people swear actually happened. They have no logic explanation, from missing time and strange coincidences to memories that don't match reality and experiences that feel impossible. Each story will leave you wondering if there's more to this world that we understand. As always, I'll be reacting to each story, sharing my thoughts and looking at both the logical explanation and the mind-bending possibilities. So keep an open mind, because some of these stories are genuinely unsettling. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's glitch in the Matrix story.
Back in 2014, I had a client who hopped timelines so severely, she was extraordinarily freaked out. Let's talk about it. So one of my weekly clients back in 2014, I was working a lot with her. She was a very new starseed, very awkward in her body and very sort of ahead of her time, especially for her generation. She was much older than me. And she had really struggled with raising her vibration and stabilizing it around her husband, who did not believe in any of this stuff and was also just kind of negative. So I would teach her how to raise and stabilize her frequency and therefore affect the frequency of other people and things around her. She was starting to really do this, and I was proud of her. And the one day she called me up and she said, Elizabeth, my husband is not the same person. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, something really weird happened and I don't know what it was. So she said the night before, the two of them all of a sudden shifted, and they had this 4-hour conversation around everything, around their relationship, their kids, the past, their present. It was an incredible in-depth conversation that they've needed to have for years. Now, typically on a Thursday night, he would watch his sports on one TV and she would watch her shows on another TV. And that's how every night was. So she was so relieved that they finally had this breakthrough. Then the next morning, right, they go to the grocery store. They're both driving to the grocery store, and she turns to him and she says, wow, like what a great conversation that was last night. I'm so happy we talked about everything. He turns to her and says, I have no idea what you're talking about. I watched the game. This is who won. You went and watched your shows and we did what we do every night. She called me up in a panic. She had no idea what was going on, and she was so confused as to why he had forgotten their entire conversation. I didn't know what was going on either. This was very early in my sort of quantum mechanics and timeline switching understanding. But essentially what I tapped into was they had hopped into a different frequency the night before, right? Call it a glitch in the Matrix. And they slept. And while they slept, they actually both hopped back into the he hopped into the lower frequency. She was still in the higher frequency. So she remembered what happened collectively in the higher frequency. He had no idea that that even happened at all because he lived in a timeline that she didn't exist in. Anyway, that's definitely one of the sort of glitch in the Matrix stories that stands out for me in a lot of my years of experience. What do you guys think? Comment below.
Now, the explanation she gives is where things get really interesting. She believes they briefly shifted into a different timeline, but while they are asleep, her husband somehow turned to another reality, one where that conversation never happened. She remembered everything, he remembered absolutely nothing. Now, could there be a completely normal explanation? Sure. Memory can be unreliable, and people sometimes remember the same night very differently. But I also understand why stories like these capture so many people's attention. Imagine remembering one of the most important conversations of your life, only for the other person to swear it never happened. That's genuinely unsettling. Whether you see this as a timeline glitch, a strange psychological phenomenon, or so what do you think? Was this just a forgotten conversation, or could it have really been a glitch in the Matrix? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The person that sent me the story called it Placed in the Matrix. Actually, it's Placed in the Matrix, ? By the way, if you have a story that you'd like to share with our glitch community about glitches in the Matrix, dreams, aliens, cryptids, or the paranormal, you can send it to this email address. And remember, we believe you. Just so you know, the story might seem like it was written by AI, but I assure you it wasn't. I did use AI to fix any spelling, grammar, or punctuation errors. I'm a 50-year-old man eager to share my story with you. That's okay. We actually have a lot of people that do that. And I want to tell people out here, if you have a story that you want to share and you feel like you're not the best writer, it's like totally an option. Well, first of all, we have in our Discord, by the way, which is this. If you want to come join the Discord, please come hang out with us. We do have a story writing help channel, but also if you don't want to do that, or if you're overwhelmed by Discord or whatever, you can use like ChatGPT or something to help with your story. Like if you feel like I'm not the best writer, but I want to get my story out there, you can literally just like dictate your story to ChatGPT and be like, can you just write this up nicer for me? And we can do that. It's fine. A lot of people do it. It's totally a cool and acceptable way to send your story. I was born in 1975 in southern Indiana, late May, which meant that it was warm. This story takes place in 1987 when I was 12. 3 years earlier, a single father named Robin and his son, whom I'll call Jay, moved in. We were about the same age, just a week apart in birthdays, and we became very close over the 3 years that we spent together. Robin wasn't very wealthy, so that he couldn't provide many things for Jay. I understood that as we grew up together, we had many sleepovers at my house. He loved spending time with my family and me, my mom, my dad, and my sister. He didn't own pajamas or so many belongings. Still, I had things for him at home, and we celebrated 2 birthdays together. One night, just before my 11th birthday, we had a sleepover where he wanted to show me his birthmark. That's weird. His birthmark looked like a chocolate spot in an unusual shape near his groin, like the emoji. That's really interesting. I was fascinated because I didn't have any birthmarks. It was strange that it was on his groin. As I got to know him better, I eventually understood that he thought of himself as having caused his mom's death. Sometimes Robin blamed Jay for Robin's wife, Jay's mom's death, saying that she died while giving birth to him. That is not his fault. My parents explained that it wasn't his fault, yes, and reassured him about those facts. Then came the week before our 12th birthdays. I was very excited for my 12th birthday because Jay was going to sleep over again. We had such a good time during those 3 years being adventurous in the backyard. Remember, there was no internet or personal computers back then, at least not available to us, though they existed. We spent our time outside making up games, inventing stories, calling ourselves wizards, astronauts, pirates, or other explorers. Our house had a basement, which was a lifesaver since we lived in a tornado zone. If there were ever an emergency, we could head downstairs. During that sleepover, Jay was on the air mattress I kept in my room, normally tucked under the bed when it wasn't in use. We stayed up late, chatting until around 9:30 p.m. My alarm clock, with its clicking plastic flip-down numbers, oh my god, I can literally envision the exact alarm clock you're thinking of, let me know that it was late. We knew we might get in trouble for staying up, but we kept talking. I was again fascinated by Jay's birthmark, and we were going to be 12. For him and me, being 12 was very exciting because it was the last year before becoming teenagers. I remember Jay had sandy blonde hair and extraordinary brown eyes. We even played board games indoors. That night, just before my birthday, the sky turned pink abruptly. I looked at the clock at 9:30 p.m. and saw the sky, not as if it was sunset, but pink. It was very unnatural. My parents were in the other room watching TV. My sister was asleep. Why was the sky pink? Both Jay and I felt nervous, bothered even. I looked again at 9:35 p.m. and the pink sky remained. We lived in a quiet suburb with gravel roads, no streetlights, and no sidewalks. Then there was a sudden knock on the door. Jay and I were both unclothed as it was a warm summer night. Mom opened the door and Dad looked in and said in a calm voice, "Boys, you need to come with us. There's an emergency." What? I thought we'd go to the basement, but Dad said, "Come on, we're going to a shelter." That startled me. We had a basement, so why would we need to go to the shelter when we already had one? Dad touched the back of my neck, giving it a slight pinch. I didn't think much of it, as his hands were very calloused. He called Jay over and we went outside into the pink night. It was just bright enough from the moonlight to see that the sky was pink. Then we stepped onto a moving walkway, similar to those at big airports, where most of the neighbors were heading. Jay, his dad, Robin, and my dad and his sister and I formed the back of the line. I noticed that where the old house used to be, there was now a tall silo, which was a bit odd since there was a cornfield behind that house, but no silo before. It was huge, so tall I had to lean back to see all the way to the top. We were led to the silo via the moving walkway. What is happening right now? Did you have a moving walkway before this? Or did it just spawn? This is freaking me out, man. What is happening? There I noticed pink pods shaped like beans protruding from it. Dad said it was okay. I wondered if this was the shelter. Mom approached one of the pods, laid my sister inside, and went into an open doorway on the side of the silo. Dad then placed me into a pink pod and went inside as well. I was sitting up and he told me that it was okay to lie down. I looked over at my sister and she was asleep, covered with cables, which struck me as strange. This is all striking me as a very strange. Robin helped Jay into his pod. He was very upset and crying, "No, Dad, I don't want to be here." His dad told him it was okay to lie down. Robin also entered the silo. I looked around and no one else from our street was going in. My sister resting peacefully made me feel calmer. Jay was struggling against the cables, trying to force him to lie down. I decided to lie down myself, though I could see through the pod's side, which looked like slime or goo, pink, of course. Though I saw Jay struggling, I was calm and felt safe, but he clearly did not. He kept trying to get up and out. I called out, "Jay, it's okay, please calm down," just before I fell asleep. Then I woke up in my bed the next morning. The air mattress was out, and I tried to remember why I pulled it from under the bed. I got up, dressed, went to the bathroom, and then to the kitchen. My mom had made my favorite breakfast, pancakes and bacon, and I asked where Jay was. The air mattress was still out. Did he go home? My mom asked, "Who are you talking about?" "We pulled out the air mattress because your cousin is coming today. Eugene is coming for your birthday." I remembered that and I didn't think much of it, though I was a little confused. "Wasn't the sky pink last night?" I asked Mom. She said she didn't think so. We went to bed right after watching TV. I wondered if there were storm sirens. I remembered the pink sky, but Mom reassured me that everything was fine. The birthday party went on. My 12-year-old cousin and his brothers arrived, and I thought about the strange shape, a chocolate mark in the shape of a winky face. I asked my cousin if he had any birthmarks. He said no, and neither did his brothers. We were close in age and like the brothers, but the details of the birthmark remained unexplained. Many years later, I learned that my friend Mark wanted to see The Matrix, which was released on March 31st, 1999. I was literally thinking about the pods from The Matrix with the cables and the pink goo when you were explaining that before. We watched the trailers and went to see it about a week after it opened. The scene arrives where Neo has been unplugged and is breaking free of the pod. I started breathing heavily because I remembered that pink goo, the cables, the straps. Mark thought I was having a panic attack and tried to calm me. We finished the movie and afterwards he asked me what caused the panic. I told him about Jay, my missing friend, and his birthmark. Mark then lifted his sleeve to show me a similar birthmark in his armpit, a chocolate shaped precisely as I remembered. He said he first noticed it at age 11. We spent the evening discussing how birthmark could go unnoticed until then and how it was possible to forget a friend's name that only starts with J. During the year after The Matrix came out, I remember asking Robin, Jay's dad, what happened to him. He answered by saying that Jay had died during childbirth, along with Jay's mother / his wife. Robin, however, told me that he would have named his son Josh if Josh had lived. So I know a boy whose name begins with J who never got to be a teenager. Was he just deleted? And this is the best story the Matrix program could come up with? Did Jay struggle so much that he died while floundering in the pod? Or was he actually just a 3-year figment of my imagination? I may never know, and I still find it very strange. How do you remember an unusual placement and shape of a birthmark that no one else in your family has had? And how does someone not notice a birthmark until they are 11 years old? I may never know the answers to these questions. I do not even believe that I have the answers within my own memory, but for now, this is my story. Thank you for taking the time to read it. The end! I don't even know what to say about this. This is freaking crazy, dude. Okay, so you know how people say that like everything that you could literally think of and imagine is something that exists, right? Because you can't think of something that doesn't exist. Does that make sense? I'm talking right now about the similarities between the Matrix and this like scenario that happened to this person way before the Matrix even existed. So maybe like something along the lines of the Matrix like actually did happen in another timeline or another dimension. And maybe you and Jay and all those people, your parents and Jay's dad from that version of reality went into these pods because whatever the fuck was happening there, I can't even tell you, but Matrixy kind of thing was happening there, but you died. And now you're in like a similar timeline. You woke up in a similar timeline in which the mattress is out because your cousin was coming and Jay never existed. And that whole thing. But you retained the memories of the other timeline that just happened and your friend, because that's what's fucking me up, right? Because normally I'd be like, okay, Jay never existed. Jay was a ghost. You were hanging out with Jay's ghost, but that could not have been it because of the memories of you have him sleeping over and the interactions between all the parents and stuff like that. So that can't, and the whole pink sky fucking pod gooey weird pink shit wire situation, Matrix situation is what's fucking me up. So it can't be that. It has to be that. Oh my God, what if you guys got plugged in? What if we're all really in the Matrix? Really in the Matrix? And you're plugged in right now and you remember being plugged in. And this is your plugged in Matrix reality. That's actually a simulation, but you're actually still there plugged in. Wait, but what's with the weird birthmark? And why was it like on Jay? Then all your family was like, nah, we don't have it. And then your friend had it, but didn't notice it till he was 11. This is like fucking me up, dude. I don't even know. What do you guys think? Please let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you so much for sharing this story.
What is happening? How is that thing just sitting there?
So I experienced my first glitch in the Matrix. I got my daughter these headphones, right? These headphones, one pair, okay? Got her this. Why is there fucking two?
I don't even know where to start. I have so many glitch in the Matrix stories and doppelganger stories that you guys have given to me that it blew my mind. Here's just a few. And don't forget to binge my playlist because there's so many glitch in the Matrix stories that will blow your mind. When I was in middle school, I was staying the night with a friend. We had planned on sneaking out that night, so we were getting ready to leave. I had to leave her room briefly to get something from the kitchen. As I was walking out of the kitchen, I saw my friend sitting in front of the TV on the living room floor. I asked her why she was just sitting there when we needed to leave in a few minutes. She looked up at me briefly and then right back at the TV. At that same moment, I hear my friend from the bathroom ask me who I was talking to. I turned to look at her and freaked out, turned back to the living room, and no one was there. I was terrified and convinced that her house was haunted or that we had let a demon in by playing with the Parker Brothers Ouija board. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. To this day, I have no idea what the hell happened that night. Okay, usually I'd admonish you for using a Ouija board, but late 80s, early 90s, we had nothing to do, kids. One night, my kid's father and I were up late watching TV when we both saw my daughter, who was supposed to be sleeping, run past us and into the kitchen. We both, at the same time, called out to her to go back to bed as she had school the next day. We waited and there was no response, so I told her dad, "You're gonna have to go get her and put her to bed." He went into the kitchen expecting her to jump out from somewhere, but nothing. She wasn't in the kitchen. We both run to her room to find her asleep in bed. Oh, whatever ran into the kitchen never ran out, and to this day I still don't know what we saw. Okay, this happened years ago during home phones and two-way calling. I was sitting there talking to my girlfriend when there was another call coming in. I told her to hold on, and I answer it, say hello twice. Then I hear talking between two people. One of them was me. I didn't know the other person. I said hello, no answer for them. So I sit a minute listening to a conversation I've never had with somebody I didn't know. I clicked back over, told my girlfriend. She said she could hear it too. So I went back to listen to this. It went on for a few minutes, then it stopped. I went back over to talk to my girlfriend and was like, what the fuck was that? It was me. Okay, so I'm gathering up more. If you have a story, a doppelganger story, a glitch in the matrix story, drop it in the comments. I'm trying to get to all of them. Don't forget to follow me because part 2 is coming.
You guys gotta see this. It's like a portal to another dimension. Check this out. This is wild.
Okay, I'm spending a couple weeks at my mom's house for the summer. I am really big on laundry, so I come down to the laundry area a lot throughout the day. I have literally vacuumed everything over here 3 times, and I just did it again, right? I just vacuumed again. It's still plugged in. I went to take the fan that we have in the window because that actually really helps with the heat and stuff. Anyways, doesn't matter. And then I went to go plug it back in, and then for whatever reason I turned around like really quick, and then that is sitting right there. And so is this, and so is that. Now I can definitely put it in my head that that's maybe just a coincidence. They're both laundry sheets, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I just missed it 3 times over. I don't know. But what is this? I just, and I don't go like, oh, 1 and 2, and, well, I have OCD. So this shit has been cleaned 80 times, like before I even unplug this thing. What is happening? And honestly, I don't care if you guys don't believe me. This is why I don't respond to all the other messages and things that have been happening with my other video from earlier this year. I don't fucking care. I'm just showing you proof that there is a glitch that keeps happening ever since they turned off CERN. Oh my god, I can't. This is crazy.
Well, after watching all of these stories, one thing becomes pretty clear. Whether you believe in glitches in the Matrix or not, these moments have a way of making you question reality. Today, we saw objects that seem to duplicate themselves. A little girl who appeared to glitch while running through a field. Strange timeline shifts and several moments that simply don't fit our normal understanding of how the world works. Maybe there's a logical explanation for every single one. Maybe there isn't. That's what makes this story so fascinating. At the end of the day, none of us can say for certain what really happened. Were these camera glitches, tricks of the mind, false memories, or something far stranger? I'll leave that up to you. Now, I want to hear from you. Which story stood out of the most? Have you ever experienced something that made you question reality or feel like you witnessed a glitch in the Matrix? Share your story in the comments. I read them all, and your experience might even be featured in a feature video. If you enjoyed today's reactions, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Gleans Reacts, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. Until next time, keep your eyes open, question everything, and I'll see you in the next one.